Welcome back to part 5 of this solo level 1 run that I'm doing of Elden Ring. Um, I think my plan for this part should basically just be completing all of Ronnie's quest line. Going through all of Nokron, going through Sophia Riverwell, and then defeating Astel and Adula, and just completing that quest line. I just want to get that out of the way now, because I feel like I have the ability to complete it at this point in the game. And I want to get that done just so we have that in preparation for the end of the game. That's still a ways away, but why not just get it done now? And exploring through the Atlas Plateau in the sealed tunnel, I came across this boss room. The Onyx Lord. Boss fight's not too hard. This is an enemy you'll encounter in other locations. You encounter one in the whatever it is, Ryokari Academy. Gets hard whenever you dodge into a wall. He's fast. And he delays a lot of his attacks. Cannot be backstabbed. Seems quite resistant as well to all the debuffs. Oh my god. I feel like you can backstab this dude. Does that count? It does count. Alright, well, I guess the trade was worth it. That was an interesting way to end that. That fight started off really bad, and then I eventually learned how to deal with him. Now that we've defeated Radon, and I've gone through and got my extra equipment slot, I think now it's time to head down into Nokron. Just kind of like finish off Ronnie's quest line. Explore this area. As you progress a little bit through Nokron, you come across this boss. It's just pretty close to the entrance. It's the first one you should come across. It's the Mimic Tier. Now, technically with the Mimic Tier, it mimics everything that you had. So what you can do is you can take off all of your equipment before you start the fight, and then the Mimic will have no equipment, and then you just put it all back on. You can beat it really easily. But I don't want to resort to that, just because the fight's easy enough. I kind of want to just do it normally. Because the boss is also scaled to you. And I forgot that I had a parry shield equipped. Parried myself. Alright, let's try this again, shall we? This time let's not get parried. Yeah, now we parry him. But yeah, since they're an exact copy of you, they have all of your stats, which includes the HP. So it's not like they're... Okay, he brought out the parry shield. Oh, stomach attack, can't parry that. There we go. He parried me the first time, I'll parry him now. Yeah. Like, the Mimic Tier doesn't do much damage, it doesn't have much HP since it's scaled to you, that I don't really find it fun to just kind of like use or take off all your equipment and then re-equip it in the fight. I just rather fight it normally. It's always a fun fight. Now after running through the city of Nokron, we reach this kind of final area underneath this woman, where we find the Finger Slayer Blade here. This is the item for Ronnie's quest line and the entire reason we're out here. This is the main progression in our story, and then this will bring us to the Anseal River main, where we can start looting her body, or loot the doll, and then continue on from there. It's a shame I don't have a glass jar on hand.
Let us speak of the past a while. I was once an Empyrean, of the demigods. Only I, Mikola, and Melania could claim that title. Each of us was chosen by our own two fingers, as a candidate to succeed Queen Marika, to become the new god of the coming age, which is when I received Blythe, in the form of a vassal tailored for an Empyrean. But I would not acquiesce to the two fingers. I stole the rune of death, slew mine own Empyrean flesh, casting it away. I would not be controlled by that thing. The two fingers and I have been cursing each other ever since, and the baleful shadows are their assassins. Even when I turned my back upon the two fingers, Blythe remained my loyal ally. Though he was created a vassal for an Empyrean, he was a colossal failure on the part of the two fingers. Blithe and E.G. both, art willing to give too much to me. Yet, they both understand what lieth beyond the dark path, that I must betray everything, and rid the world of what came before. Ah. Should I add thee to the list? Another one, kind of heart. As kind of heart as they. Ah. This form hath loosened my tongue. I've let slip too much. Forget what thou'st heard. Forget.
Now we come across the baleful shadow.
Oh, shadow.
Here we go.
Thou art the last.
Not too bad because you can backstab him.
That Rani the Witch cometh.
Backstab,
Thy flesh
charge a heavy.
with a fateful wound, ne'er to heal.
You hit once more afterwards just to get some extra build up in the frost. Jump at you, and he'll have a long time of recovery. And just basically repeat. Right, let's try this again. A little bit more patient this time. Or not. Thought I could try to get a heavy in after the first hit. Oh, he's too quick. The heavy's fine, it's just getting out is the problem. Not gonna do the heavy this time because I'm already low enough. I'm just gonna heal. Just let him go into his jump. You could theoretically just wait every time for his jump instead of trying to charge the heavy and be a lot safer, but can end it a lot quicker if you go for this heavy. Come on, jump at me. If I wait any longer, frost ain't gonna build up. Although I have to assume that it probably goes up, down just as fast as it goes down on people, which is slow as hell. Takes forever for any sort of status effect to deplete. Just repeat this process until you get a frostbite. Gives you a little bit of extra damage. Alright, now the frostbite's gone. Now I can try to build it back up again. Probably be able to land it one more time before he dies. Probably be the killing blow. Not too much interesting about this fight, it's just doing the same thing over and over again. Come on, there you go. That should do it.
Beautifully fought.
There we go.
My thanks. 'Twas more of a challenge than I envisioned. Now I can finally stand before them. This is farewell, my dear. Tell
that's done. That leaves us to the Scarlet Lake. This annoying hellhole. This is going to be hard, especially at this low level, just because Scarlet Rot is going to destroy our HP, so he cannot stand inside it at all. Either we have to go and find the spell that gets rid of it, or we have to use the items that get rid of it. But we do need to go this way to continue Ronnie's quest line. I don't have either the spell or the medicine to take care of it, so I'll have to go back and see if I can get that. Alright, so I ran and grabbed the spell we needed. It was the Flame Cleanse Me spell. The spell basically allows you to cure Scarlet Rot and other debuffs that happened, just located right here, south of the Church of Vows, just in one of the Fire Monk camps. But it takes 14 FP to cast, and we only have like 60 FP total, or 65. So we don't have many casts of this, so we need to run as fast as we can to that door over there. It's also good that some of the time you can just run to the other side without actually having to use it, like that. So in the case that we have low FP, what we want to do is we want to basically just wait to cross the areas until after we've had the entire bar go down. Obviously you'll have to be dealing with these basilisks, but that shouldn't be too hard as they have no attacks, it's just debuffs. Yeah, and then you just wait here until it goes down and run over there. Now I did get to this distance before running out of mana, but at this point I can't cast a spell anymore. Luckily I do have two of these whatever preserving whatevers that do cure the Scarlet Rot. So basically just use these instead if you ever run out of FP. If you don't have any, then probably just go back and switch out some of your flasks to the whatever blue ones, the FP ones. But I completely forgot to do that. And after getting through the lake, we should cross through this area to get to Astel, which would be the final major boss before we actually finish Ronnie's quest line. Astel shouldn't be too hard, he's quite slow, but he does do quite a good amount of damage. And now we have at Astel. Now this boss is immune to Frostbite, and obviously it has a large HP pool, so damage is not going to do much to it, but it is able to be bled. So likely what I'll try is the Cold Hook Claws that I'm using, and just try to bleed it. Great start. And now we have Astel. This boss fight was interesting to say the least. It's not a very hard boss fight per se, but I found that this was an extreme test of my endurance. This fight took a ridiculous amount of time just to beat one run. The fight in total took me 15 minutes for one singular run. So while it wasn't hard to dodge each attack that he had, just playing patient made it pretty easy to dodge most of the attacks. It definitely was a test of my patience and to not just like over push and try to get in like an extra hit or something like that to proc a bleed, or else I would be immediately punished, and then that would be like 10 minutes down the drain. So in this fight I went with the claws again. Most fights again in the future will probably be using these weapons or a weapon of similar speed, just like a quick small weapon. I have these weapons infused with blood grease, but I did not have an Ash of War actually on these weapons themselves. The Astel is immune to frost, so there's no point of actually having an Ash of War that adds frost to your damage, to your attacks. But if you add a Ash of War that adds frost to your attacks, it actually lowers the amount of bleed that the initial hit will do. So having the maximum bleed that the base weapon can do, plus the blood grease, maximizes the amount of bleed that I can inflict on Astel. Now, this is very important because his moveset doesn't allow for many opens. He teleports around a lot, and a lot of the time you're just running between his teleports or trying to dodge his attacks. This leads to not very much time to actually stack up any amount of bleed on him. That's part of the reason why this boss fight actually took as long as it did. It's just because he ran every time I tried to hit him. Whenever I actually was in melee range of Astel and was able to actually hit him, I always aim for going for his right hand or your left. This puts you in a position to better dodge all of the attacks that he would do after you strike him. So whether that be his ground pound or one of his bites, you can distance yourself by already being a pretty far distance away from that mouth. It also was quite easier to hit his hand rather than his head, because his hand was most of the time on the ground, whereas his head raised up. And with the small range that the claws have, it made it quite hard to actually hit his head. Now, his hardest move that I found was his meteor attack. This attack, I don't think I ever found a way that I felt comfortable dodging that attack. I got consistent enough to survive through it a few times, but if I made one mistake in it, it would kill me, since it does a ridiculous amount of damage, and it is quite hard to tell exactly what it's going to do. The way that I did find out how to dodge it, or at least dodge it enough to beat the run, was be as far away as you can whenever he starts the attack. This shouldn't be too hard, as he will only do it after he teleports, so you just gotta make sure you don't run in whenever you think he might start up the move. And then after that, what you'd want to do is you'd want to basically look at the meteors and see which one is aiming towards the player. This is quite hard because there's so many meteors that you have to pick out one single meteor that's actually coming to you first. But once you figure that out, you basically want to dodge as soon as that one hits. And then after that, there's, I think, another 2 meteors that are also aimed at the player. Now, these ones don't actually hit immediately after the first one, so if you just spam roll after that first meteor hits, you're gonna get roll caught by the additional 2 meteors. So instead, what you want to do is you want to dodge the first, wait like a fraction of a second, it's not very long, and then dodge again, and do that for the third one as well. That allowed me to dodge it with moderate consistency, but it'll take me probably a few more attempts in the future to actually get the pattern down properly. Now, main challenges that I found in this fight were obviously the length of the fight. Again, this fight took 15 minutes to just beat this one run, and that's not including all of the other 20 attempts that I had that failed. That means that even though this took way less attempts than something like the Draconic Tree Sentinel with the 57 different deaths, this still took me around like 2 hours to beat this fight, just because every single attempt took up like 10 minutes. I also found that even though he can be bled, he is quite resistant to bleed, and it takes around like 10 hits of your claws to actually proc a bleed, and every subsequent bleed proc, I think up to 3, will take even more than that. So I think 10 for the first, 15 for the second, like 20 for the third, or something like that. It just takes a long time to bleed him up, and you don't get very many openings, so all of that combined to add up to that 15-minute time of the fight. Now, towards the end of this fight, I actually found that I ran out of heals when Astel was still at like a quarter of his HP. This was kind of nerve-wracking because I think I got hit and dropped down to like a fourth of my HP, so any one hit would have definitely killed me at that point. I'm not entirely sure exactly how I was able to survive it, but I feel like I just got lucky enough that I managed to dodge every single thing after that quarter of HP bar. It was very, very stressful. Now, something that I'll probably have to do for fights in the future with more endgame bosses is not just go into them at a soul level 1. I'll probably make alt accounts and properly level them up, at least with Vigor, and get their HP bar up, just to test out the bosses in a condition where I won't instantly die to any of their hits, to figure out any weaknesses that they have, any status buffs that they're weak to, movesets, can I parry them, or the parry timings that they have. It would be a lot easier for me, and it would take a lot less time and a lot less attempts if I'm able to do that while still being able to receive a lot more hits than if I were to do it in a soul level 1 that I'm doing right now. Now, also for the future in a lot of these boss fights, since they do take 15 minutes, I assume that future bosses will probably take similar amounts of time. Likely these voiceovers won't be able to cover the entirety of each fight. The latter half of these fights will probably just be empty space, uh, where you guys can just like watch the fight. I don't think I have enough content to describe all of the bosses over like 15-minute time periods, other than just, showing exactly like, here's how you dodge the same attack for the 30th time in a row. So I don't think I have much more to detail over Astel. This fight is just repetition and making sure you don't overcommit or don't make mistakes. Um, the fight is so long, it's not really a test of like mechanical ability, but rather a test of endurance. Other than that, I don't think I have anything more to explain with Astel, and I will just let you watch the rest of this fight. Let's fucking go! How did okay, I am so surprised that I even survived that. I was like, still had a bleed proc left and a bunch of hits, and lost all of my healing and was hit once. So I was gonna be an insta kill from then on. That is, yeah, I'm surprised. I'm happy though. That's actually a pretty decent boss fight. I really do like the design of him. Like all of his attacks are really, really cool. And I was understanding him by the end there, but like, dude, that fucking like meteor shower is still a little bit uncertain on it, but like I got it down enough that I was able to survive it. I don't know. I don't trust myself, but I got it enough. Anyway, um, I think that's the last major boss. The last thing would be the Glintstone Dragon Adula, but like that's another Wyvern fight, which is the same as every other one. It's not that hard. Oh yeah, I need to go get the seal, but should be basically Ronnie's quest line done. You know, sometimes just looking around, I kind of just stop and just stare at the sky because like this game still ceases to like not amaze me. Just the visuals in this game are just absolutely outstanding. It's crazy that they were able to manage to pull this off. God, I fucking love this game. Alright, here's Adula. Oh no, don't not land in the ruins. Oh no. There we go. Out of the ruins. None of that. Ah, oh, come on. One hit and I'm dead. Probably do that. That wouldn't be a bad idea. Like, if you just get this part wrong, he just puts you off the edge of the cliff. And I'm just gonna get hit by that. There's nowhere to run. If I would have actually escaped that, he would have been in the rocks. Also, again, his fightable area is so small that it's like, cool, he just gets himself outside of that rock. Just teleport back already. I know you want to. Fine. Oh my god. Are you kidding me? Oh no, the fucking rocks. It's absolute garbage area to fight this dragon in. Like, so bad. Like, it literally is not the dragon, the annoying part of this boss fight. It's literally just the fact that... It's literally just the area you fight him in that's so bad. Like, he's in the ruins now, and he's gonna teleport back. I'll just race him back. There he is. Would you look at that? Are you kidding me? Oh, what? And also, he's outside of his arena again. Area is so bad. It's just like, dude. Okay, half the area is taken up by the chapel here, which is not good to fight him in. Half the area is taken up by this cliffside, which you don't want to fight him near. And then half his area is taken up by this, like, rock division that's super annoying to deal with. And then, like, the area you fight him in is this tiny little narrow, like, cliffside. It's just all around a not good time fighting this boss. Ugh. Oh my god, it does not help. This other stuff that he does. He's gonna land himself off the side of the cliff. It's just it's so bad of an area. Like, why did anyone think this was okay? I swear. I'm gonna die on that as soon as... Stop with your new breath attacks. God. This is annoying. This is actually just annoying to fight. Because, like, if he just does something wrong, like a fire breath when you're up against one of the rocks, because there's so many of them, like, there's nothing you can do but just accept death. And, like, he'll launch himself outside of the arena so quickly. Come on. You're like just one stagger away. He's gonna kill me before they do that. There we go. Kill a little bit of damage before that in. Is he dead? Yay! Final. Jesus Christ. That is annoying. His area is so bad to fight a dragon in. It's just like half of it's a cliff, half of it's a chapel. There's this giant rock division it, and he launches himself outside of the arena anytime he does some sort of like flying breath attack. It's just so bad. But past all the complaining that I'm doing, that should be the end of Ronnie's quest line. Well, here we are at the Dead Two Fingers and Ronnie.
So it was thee who would become my lord. Perhaps I needn't have warned thee. I am pleased, however. Thou art a fitting choice. I go now to the night sky. It is there I shall find mine order. I bid thee travel the path of the Lord, and once all is done, we shall see each other once more.
Alright. And that is Ronnie's questline finished. Dark Moon Blade, something we can't use. But now all that's left for that is just beat the final boss. Although, again, that will be the last thing I do in this. So that's still got a little ways to go. Still have to beat quite a lot of bosses to get there. Alright, I think that's probably where I'll cut it for this. I was able to get a lot of bosses knocked out, complete all of Ronnie's quest line. Uh, I think next what I'll probably go for is taking on Mount Gelmir, taking out Rykard, and then probably after that would be defeating Morgott. It's going to be a definitely hard battle fighting Morgott, just because I'm definitely going to have to learn to parry a lot in that fight. Take me a lot of attempts just to learn how to parry him, but it'll be fun in the end. Well, that's all I have time for in this episode, so I will see you next time.